Right, suppose I load General Assembly of this steam loco that I've made here. Now it's showing that in the preview panel, okay. So let's try and load it in. It's a big file, so it should take that. Well, right now, so the following files cannot be found. Data loco, Hermes sheet, O2, blah blah. Boiler tube small, O60. Do you want to locate them for yourself? I'll say no to that. Wait a while and we'll see that it loads the rest of the file in. There it is. Now usually if there's a file it cannot find and cannot load in, it usually displays it in the structure tree italicized, but I cannot find it, and then you can simply delete it and the loading will be fine. Now the boiler tube small O60 would of course be in the boiler assembly, which I've got here, boiler assembly O60. So if we spread that out and scroll down it, we get a list of loads of boiler tubes small, all of which are not 060 boiler tubes. 3 large ones there and a load of small ones. Now there is a boiler tube O60, but it's not a boiler tube small. It is in fact the main tube of the boiler, so if I uncheck it, we can see that we can now see inside the boiler, and there are large tubes and small tubes, which we saw down here, 3 large and now all the rest are small. Okay, now then, the boiler assembly itself exists as an entity, so I can load that in, and you would assume that if in this assembly, the main assembly, there's an error in the boiler assembly, it would show in the separate boiler assembly. So there it is there. Load that in, no problem. Small tubes, large tubes, but again no O60 tubes, italicized or otherwise. So I don't know what is going on with this General Assembly, why it should think it should have a boiler tube small O60 in it. How can I correct this error when loading this assembly in? I've also tried to use the find facility in Design Spark Mechanical to find this missing file. We're now in Design Spark Mechanical. I'm going to press Control then F. Right, find what? Right, I've put, just to prove that this works, boiler tube large, entire document, match all these cases, regular expressions, find next. Right there it's found boiler tube large, which is in the correct place. we'll try Polytube small. Find. There you are, it's found it over here, Polytube small. That's correct. Now then, the one that seems to be missing is small 060. Find next. Nothing happens. It's a shame that it doesn't come up with a statement like file not found or not found or something like that. It just sits and does nothing, which is a bit poor, I think. So I've proved anyway that Polytube small 060 doesn't exist in the structure tree, but yet it thinks it needs to find it. How can that be corrected?